what's up guys? It's Chief here from Chief Live Gaming. Today we're going to do a quick video going over the basics of mold making. Very easy, very fun thing to know how to do. So we're going to make duplicates today of some bases. I made some bases that I want to spit out a bunch of copies of, and I want to cast them in resin. So the first thing I need to do is make a mold of these bases so that I can make copies. Now that's the very first step, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to use some foam board. This is just basic foam board, you know, from any hobby store. We're going to make a box out of the foam board so we can place our originals inside of it and then pour the liquid silicone into it, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is make the box and show it to you guys. It'll make a lot more sense when you see it. And then I'm going to go over the materials that I'm going to be using for you guys and show you what the finished product looks like. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, so here's a box I just finished. I'm going to make a mold of some bases, and you just want to make sure you get the inside corners and bottom edges, any seams, sealed off with some hot glue. So run a bead of hot glue along all of the edges, all the corners, and just get it nice and sealed off in case it leaks. You definitely don't want it to leak. And don't forget to tack whatever you are casting, put some hot glue on the bottom and make sure you stick it to the bottom of the box. You've got a really good chance of ruining your mold because they'll float up when you pour the liquid. So make sure you tack them to the bottom to avoid that problem. It's real sad when that happens. So there's the finished box. Something like that. Pretty easy to make. Alright guys, real quick before we get started, I'm going to show you the materials that I use in this video. These are by no means the best materials, they're just what I have experience with. So the mold is made with Umu 30, I hope that's how you pronounce it, by Smooth On. It's just a 2-part silicone. That's what I use to make the mold. And what I pour into the mold is this here. It's just a 2-part resin. And the reason I use this brand is because of the extremely fast cure time. I like to make a lot of things at once, kind of sit out in the garage for an hour or two and cast a bunch of stuff. So the fast cure is really important for me. Make sure you check your cure time on resins, because you might notice there's cheaper alternatives, but they take, you know, 6 hours, 8 hours, 24 hours to cure. So make sure you guys check that out. Alright guys, so I just wanted to give you a look. I let this cure overnight. I poured the mold and it's totally dry now. Didn't mix it very well apparently. Got a little bit of impatience there. That's okay. I just wanted to show you guys real quick that we did indeed have a good seal. So there's no leaks along this mold box here. So it does work. Now, I didn't use any mold release at all. I just poured into this, and I'm going to show you. You kind of have to destroy your box to get it apart, but it does work. So I don't know if there's a way to reuse the box. I mean, why don't I try to cut it out nice and neatly for you guys, and we'll see if I can save it. Otherwise, I'm going to demold the mold from the box now, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'll be right back. So I'm not the most patient guy in the world, but I was able to kind of save the box. I imagine if you maybe turned these around and use this part and then flip this over and use this face, you could reuse this box. I'm not going to, but if you're really careful and use some mold release, I bet you could salvage the box. So that's kind of interesting. But here's what we got. So as you can see, there's a little bit of leakage around the edge of the piece, but I'm going to go ahead and demold the actual originals and trim the actual mold itself. So it turned out, oh, that's just stuff from my workbench here, but turned out pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and clean it up, and I'll come back to you guys with the finished product. Alright guys, so we've cleaned up the mold a little bit. Here's what it looks like. That multicolored stuff going on is just because I was trying to mix this in a hurry before dinner and I didn't do a very good job. So just make sure you mix it as best as you can. Take your time with it and do a good job, otherwise you end up with a kind of a tie-dye effect going on here. I don't think it'll affect the overall quality of the mold too much, but I wouldn't want to risk it again. So as you can see, we've got some okay, like this stuff here, you can see needs to be cleaned up a little. That will get cleaned up as you cast out of it. If you want, you can go in and clean it up yourself. But what I would do is cast on it and see how it turns out, because you might be surprised. It might look kind of bad, but once you cast on it, it'll turn out. Alright guys, so here is the first round of bases that I cast out of that mold. As you can see, a little bit of mold lines flashing that needs to be trimmed. That is perfectly normal. And there is quite a bit of excess material on these bases from the mold. Now that's normal too, and as you cast more and more, that material will diminish over time. So just keep casting out of it. You'll pull out that excess material and be happy with your finished product. So remember, most importantly, to remove your finished casts very carefully from the silicone mold. Otherwise you can pull out chunks like that out of the mold and you'll degrade the overall integrity of the mold. So just be careful. Don't worry too much about it, but try not to pull apart your mold too much. You can use some mold release too if you wanted. That can help. So I hope I covered everything for you guys in this video. If I did not, or you have any additional questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. I do my best to answer all comments and questions that people leave me on my YouTube channel. So there's that. Thanks for watching, guys. Look forward to more videos, everything related to Warhammer 40K on my channel. Check me out at chieflifegaming.com if you want to get more involved. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye now.